The F2G-1 Super Corsair, the final form of the naval fighter that ultimately came too late to be worthwhile, now available as a season pass reward in War Thunder. By now, you're presumably well on the way to unlocking this free premium super prop, and at the very least we'll be seeing them popping up in your rank 4 and 5 air battles. Equipped with the immensely powerful 28-cylinder Wasp Major engine, the Super Corsair sits at a whopping 6.7 battle rating, the highest of any piston engine fighter, making its main opponents early jets like the ME-262, Houghton 229 and MiG-9, Saab 21R, SK-60B and Meteor, along with the occasional LA-9, Ta-152 or Griffin Spitfire in a down tier. This tier of gameplay is one of the more difficult in the game, requiring a lot of knowledge about your own aircraft, the aircraft you're fighting, and your positioning and energy states going into a fight. Anything you can outturn will outspeed you with ease if played correctly, while the reverse is not always true, with the Griffin Spitfire and SK-60B being your worst nightmares to face in this plane, and the Arados and Thunderjets you'll also see providing a lot of irritation if not handled correctly. Because of that, the F2G-1 is definitely not for everyone, and so in today's video we're going to discuss what to do with the coupon for this vehicle if and when you get it, and whether the super prop Super Corsair is right for you. Before we get into that, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Iron Conflict. This is an early access online multiplayer strategy game featuring tanks, jets, artillery and more from throughout the Cold War period right to the modern day. Put your skills to the test in an all-out 10 vs 10 slugfest on randomly generated maps using hundreds of iconic machines, from the F-16 and M1 Abrams to the Type 96, Type 99 and plenty more coming soon. Assemble your loadouts of 3 unit types out of tanks, artillery, fighters, bombers and even infantry, and put your strategic might to the test in this addictive gameplay experience powered by Unreal Engine 4. With as many as 60 units in play in a single battle, the choice is yours as to what you use and how you use it. Brawl in tanks, attack from the skies or defend them from the ground, sneak infantry into ambush positions or rain down barrages of artillery fire to crumble your enemies to dust. Get early access to Iron Conflict on Steam now at the link in the video description below, and with new content from a recent patch bringing in tons of new stuff including the new Dustwater map, there's never been a better time to check it out. Iron Conflict, proud sponsors of the Scottish Koala. With the Corsair rapidly becoming the most sought after and versatile naval fighter during World War II, production was split between 3 companies, with Goodyear and Brewster both producing variants alongside Vought, many of which went to the Royal Navy. The F2G-1 is one of the latest modifications made by Goodyear, fitted with the Wasp Major radial engine making over 3,000 horsepower, which it shares with the AM1 Mauler. With this much power, the F2G-1 can easily hold a climb of 20 degrees, although it should be noted that the Wasp Major lacks a second supercharger gear and wouldn't perform nearly as well at high altitudes as most US fighter pilots will be used to. Although based on a naval aircraft, the F2G-1 is actually a land-based variant, lacking carrier equipment such as an arrestor hook, keeping weight down. The Super Corsair also includes a redesigned bubble canopy and smaller rear fuselage, again saving weight and reducing drag. This is much needed as the Super Corsair is rather heavy when compared to preceding variants, with much of that weight being focused in the nose thanks to the enlarged engine and housing. That can change how the Corsair feels to dogfight in, especially in a rolling scissors, and can make rudder maneuvers perform quite strangely compared to what you may be used to, though the added weight does make the F2G incredibly quick in a dive, and the high horsepower output allows it to retain speed exceptionally well, while the aircraft simply refuses to compress, its controls still functioning well past 800 km an hour. With a listed top speed pushing 700 kph, the F2G will hold 640 on the deck, roughly the same as the F4U-4B a full BR below it, although it will accelerate more quickly to this speed. The engine power also makes it a devil of an energy fighter with a high maneuvering energy retention, allowing it to bleed most aircraft it will face of their speed should they choose to engage in a dogfight. As for weapons, the F2G is equipped with 6 M250 caliber machine guns and can mount tiny TIM rockets or 1,000-pound bombs for use in a ground attack role, although it's mostly redundant here with the AD4 Skyraider at 6.0 or the AU1 Marketplace Premium at 5.7. Like most planes equipped with 50 cals, you've got plenty of rounds, though substantially less than the other Corsair variants. However, the performance of these guns in recent patches is not what it used to be. This, coupled with recent changes to the kill feed system, can result in aircraft using machine guns losing a lot of kills, when enemies you've critically damaged are counted as crashing with no kill awarded. As with all Corsairs, the F2G features a very large diameter propeller, so watch out when flying at low level, and it is extremely responsive responsive to rudder maneuvers, the nose-heavy weight distribution coupled with an enlarged tail fin only compounding this mobility. This can make the Super Corsair an enjoyable defensive flyer, but beware the potential of overrolling, especially at low airspeeds, and keep in mind that the added weight will have you pulling fewer Gs in horizontal maneuvering than previous Corsair variants. The F2G's flaps are also substantially weaker than those of the F4U4, with combat flaps tearing off more than 50 km/h sooner, although as with all Corsairs, the F2G's landing gear are some of the strongest in the game, able to deploy at over 700 km/h, and actually serving as an air brake that will prevent you compressing in a high aspect dive. Given that all of the aircraft at your tier will either outspeed or outturn you, but won't hold with you in climb rate, your main strategy in the F2G should be to move in on dogfights that are already happening, where enemies are turning and losing energy and won't be able to escape you despite their higher top speeds. Climbing to an altitude of at least 3 km will help you in this case, and be sure not to be the first aircraft the enemy team spot. Keep in mind that you are ill-suited to a 1v1 with a jet aircraft, but are the perfect support fighter to watch over your teammates from high altitudes. This is another one of those aircraft that will hugely benefit from having a squad mate or two, as you'll comfortably be able to bait for each other. The F2G's high climb rate will also let it employ a reverse boom and zoom technique, abusing players who only look up for threats before committing to a dogfight. Like with many radial engines, a little knowledge of manual engine controls will help you get the best out of the Wasp Major. Pay special attention to your radiator flaps, closing them up when you need speed, and I suggest keeping them fully open during a climb, preventing war emergency power from quickly overheating your engine. This also has the benefit of creating more drag and thus giving more time between taking off and entering the engagement, decreasing the likelihood of you getting focused by the enemy team, while also keeping your engine cooled early on, letting you put those radiator flaps in to get those few kph of extra airspeed when you need them most. The F2G, however, is not an overly enjoyable aircraft to fly in Air RB, spending most of its time chasing down aircraft who can comfortably boom and zoom it, or outmaneuver it, or both. Near useless against an SK-60B or Vampire played correctly, the most likely outcome of your battles will be you're being chased down by multiple jet fighters, many of which can outturn you as well. While J-29s, Oregons and 262s generally give you little trouble, Meteors, Vampires and MiG-9s vastly outclass you, while F-84 Thunderjets and Sea Venoms will never be slower than you if played competently. Your guns require more time on target than the cannons of most contemporary aircraft, including the F4U4B, which lacks less than 10% the engine power, while reducing weight, increasing maneuverability, and more than doubling burst mass. On all this, they full battle rating lower. This also puts it at a tier where its strengths more play into the meta, while the F2G sits at a battle rating dominated by increasingly modern jets like the Seahawk, F-89 Scorpion, or SK-60B. The F2G-1 does come with strong premium benefits, and so for a freely available event reward is definitely worth a look, but will find itself struggling to achieve the consistent results necessary to get full worth out of at least its SL modifier with its exorbitant repair cost. While nice to dogfight with, and the old APIT round still just as fun as ever, the likelihood of being swooped by these swarms of much faster jets, and the difficulty of forcing a dogfight in the first place without the coordination of your team, not to mention the penchant for having kills stolen by cannon fighters, prevents the F2G from being worth a real money investment, if that's what it'll take for you to unlock this aircraft. There is hope, given that many sources seem to suggest that the F2G lacks engine power, but a further increase to horsepower output doesn't fix the major downsides of this aircraft, that being its weight, guns, overheating engine, lack of high altitude performance, and place in the matchmaker. With its BR lowered to say 6.0, the Super Corsair could be a very enjoyable fighter for those looking to challenge themselves and bring in high rewards for good performance, or make some boosted RP at the cost of SL if you don't own another comparable premium. Unfortunately though, with such a high BR over the tech tree F4U4B, which is arguably a match for it on its best day and definitely superior tier for tier, the F2G-1 is a difficult and unrewarding fighter to play, and unless you're extremely confident or prepared for a support fighter only capable of capitalizing on an enemy's mistakes, is only worth your time currently as a collector's item. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you have enjoyed, and that if you did, you leave a like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you gone for the F2G? And if you have it, how are you finding it, and what are some tips you would give to anyone looking to play it? Remember to come follow me on Twitch if you think I left anything out. We do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you lads on the battlefield. Where are you bastards? That was lucky there. I barely even aimed that shot. I feel like someone's right here. Anyone else getting the vibe that I'm about to die? Oh shit! Damn it.